and we'll see.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And so you were talking about your spiritual journey, and so I'm very curious because like yourself, you know, I don't consider myself to be religious, but I'm very spiritual,
Right.
and I've noticed as I've gotten older, I'm not too old. I'm only 23, but you know, as I've gotten older, you know that my spiritual relationship has gotten stronger based off of my experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about yours, you know,
Yeah.
Becoming a mother, losing your grandma, all the stuff that you've done. Tell me
Right.
about that journey, you know, spiritually.
Well, you know, so crazy because I grew up missionary Baptist. We went to church twice a week. You know, we prayed to Jesus. We went to, did all the stuff, you know, that a lot of people do when they grow up in church, whether you're a Christian or whatever your religion is. And so right about the time, I always had a question. So I don't want to go back too far because I could talk a long time. But so to sum it up real quick, when I was 6 years old, I actually drowned.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm not saying that I almost drowned.
Like you did.
I actually drowned.
Oh, wow.
And I had a spiritual experience then, and I told it to my family in a 6-year-old's eyes, right? So I knew it was something weird because they kept asking me to tell the story, and I was like, I told y'all this is what happened, right? You know, but now looking back, they're like, no, this was crazy. Like this 6-year-old.
What was that experience?
So to sum it up, my stepmom at the time, my brother had a half brother and that was older than me, and another half brother under him that passed away. He passed away when he was 11. But it was us. We were going swimming. Long story short, we were going swimming. My mom told my stepmom, she can't swim. You got to be there with her. Da 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 da. But I'm fearless. You know, at 6 years old, I don't care. I'm gonna do my thing. So you know, my brother at the time, he was 13. He swam like a fish. So my stepmom thought that it was cool. Like, okay, it's only 6 feet. Like. Not the whole pool, but she just felt like he could watch me. And so I remember them playing off over in the deep end, and I'm just kind of over there bored, like holding on to the side. I'm like in 2 or 3 feet. I'm like, you know, I'm going over there with them. So I go over there, and I like remember the water getting deeper, and my toe slipped. My toe slipped on the slope, and I remember just, you know, how you get frantic and you fight, you know, to stay afloat. And I remember getting really tired, and I'm yelling, I'm trying to yell, and I'm swallowing water, and, you know, nobody's hearing me. They're splashing, they're loud, and I just remember, like, getting tired and, like, giving up. And then the 6-year-old's mom's like, oh, it's going to sleep. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm getting tired. I'm just sinking down. So I remember sinking down to the bottom of the pool. Like, this is stuff that I will never forget. And so I'm at the bottom of the pool, and I remember waking up under the water, and I'm just laying there, and I'm looking around, and I see like a bright light in the corner. Like, this sounds so weird, but I'm just telling you guys my experience. Yeah. And I'm just looking, and I'm like so scared, and I'm like, am I dreaming? What's going on? And then like all of a sudden I hear this voice just say, relax. I would know, if I heard the voice again, I would know what it sounded like, but I can't describe it.
Yeah.
So I remember just going to sleep and saying, well, it's going to go back to sleep. And then all of a sudden I heard sirens, but I was so scared because all this weird shit was going on. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm dead. I don't know what's going on. Like, and so I never opened my eyes, and people were like working on me. And like, I'm just like, if I would open my eyes, everyone's like, oh my God, it's a miracle. But I just never opened my eyes. So I don't even know if I was really cognizant or what. So then I remember waking up in the hospital, and I tell this story. My mom's like, what happened? And I you know, she's thinking, I'm like, oh, I was playing and I slipped and then I just passed out. But then I go into this elaborate story, like what I just told you. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, this is what happened. I heard this voice. And then all these people come in, I'm retelling the story. And so the kicker was, my mom didn't tell me this till later, till I was probably like in my teens, where I could kind of comprehend the severity of where I was. And so for those that are in the medical profession, those that just may know, when you expire, like, you release all like bowels and everything. That's just your body's final whatever. And she was getting my stuff, like her and my aunt, like, I already had my hospital gown on, and they were like gathering my stuff, and the hospital had it in a bag, and they were opening it, and I had like defecated in my bathing suit. Like, it was a big shit stain there, just to lighten the mood. She was like, oh my gosh. So she starts crying and all that stuff. So really I was gone. Wow. And in the hindsight, how long I was underwater is still unknown. It was in the newspaper and everything, like, because my brother, from his perspective, he noticed I was missing. Him and my other brother got this story together. They went home like, well, we're going to tell our stepmom, we got to make up something. And then they went there. She was like, where's Tahlia? And they were like, oh, we thought she came home. Oh, and she was like, well, go back and get her. You know, so all this time, I'm in the pool. Like,
Oh,
they didn't
wow.
even know that I was at the bottom of the pool because I was at the bottom. Like, so the doctor was like, she swallowed the entire pool, but none of the water got in her lungs. Like, my stomach looked like
Yeah.
I was pregnant. Like, that's how much water I swallowed. So from that point, after that, like, I always knew, like, there's something different, like something beyond comprehension, something deeper than we can explain. And so from that point, like, I started reading a lot, I started writing, and then I was in a lot of gifted classes. And, you know, it was just like, that's when I feel like the creative side of me really came out. So as far as the spiritual journey, like, that's just to kind of start, like, my first spiritual experience. And then from now, like, just occurrences where I know that there's no other explanation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just feel it.
Yep.
I'm a big person about the intuition and the vibes and just trusting it, because as we know, our subconscious is so much powerful than our conscious mind. Our subconscious is what puts the ideas there and makes us do it consciously, right? So we have to trust those hunches that we get and those thoughts that pop in our head, that a lot of time our ego and stuff's like, oh, nah, you know, you just downplay it. But, you know, I'm learning that has been an awesome process because it has not failed me yet. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, okay, I have to know, after that experience of drowning in a pool, did that establish something in your mind where you were fearful of water throughout, like, your childhood, or?
Yes. So
Okay.
for about probably good 4 years, like, I would not even put my big toe in water. Like, they tried to put me in swimming lessons, and it just wasn't working. And then probably about the age of 11 is when I don't know, the fear just kind of went away, and I was like, you know, I'm missing out on fun here. So, you know, now I love the water. Like, I can swim. I mean, I know enough to, like, kind of stay afloat. You know what I mean? I'm not, like, the best swimmer, but I swim, I jump in, I dive, and I do things like that. But yeah, it was a really deep fear. And then for some time, like, when I had my daughter, I was so adamant about her knowing how to swim and not being scared of the water. So.
The power of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes, man, it was very. Yeah, FOMO was what got me in the position where I almost drowned when I was trying to get over there in the deep end, and then the FOMO is what actually pushed me to want to swim again, because all my friends were in the pool having fun and splashing and all that. I'm like, you know what, I gotta get in there.
Right on. And so I gotta ask, do you do any type of meditation?
I do. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of. I sage a lot. I have crystals. And for me, it's important. Like, so people see me as this, like, social person, like this social butterfly. I know a lot of people. I do a lot of network. Usually if it's something big, I'm on the scene. But I am kind of sort of a loner. Like, I need my time to, like, decompress. And so I spend a lot of time alone, like, in my room or at home, just chilling out, and just really kind of just be in my own head and think, you know, because when you get more in tune with your spiritual self, you start to notice that you can feel and sense the energy of others, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes if you go into big crowds and then you wonder, like, you're just ready to go, you're just like, oh my God, like, I just can't, you know, and that's just the energy, especially if you're empathic or, you know, you feel things. It's, like, hard for me sometimes to be in big crowded spaces for a long time because I feel it, and then even upon meeting somebody, I can feel their energy. You know what I mean? So
I definitely do.
Yeah.
And so what kind of books do you read now? You probably weren't reading, like, personal development when you were 4 years old. But
no.
When did you I'm sure you read those types of books now.
Yeah, well, you know what? I will go on and let me say I don't really read as much as I used to because I feel like I'm so busy. I do want to make the time to actually flip through a book, but I listen to a lot of videos. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I love your Gary V's, your Tony what's his
Robbins.
name? Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I love E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. Depending on what kind of motivation I'm needing, there's so many different type of personalities for what you're needing, and so I do listen to a lot of that. I listen to a lot of like spiritual videos, a lot of like certain type of meditation music. Like, even if I'm putting on my makeup, I'll just put it on and just like it just calms me down and stuff. Yeah. So I'm really letting people into my life. I don't share a lot of this stuff, but I'm feeling comfortable with you guys.
That's the goal of this show. I like it.
Yeah.
So, who would you say have been your biggest inspirations?
Biggest inspirations, man, that's a tough one. So I definitely have to say my grandmother is one of them, and she really taught me just so much about having tact and class and grace, like, to the very end. I never saw her without a smile on her face, even if she couldn't stand anybody. Like she was, hi, how you doing? Yeah, like at church or whatever. And then, you know, of course, the women in my family, like I come from a very long line of strong women. Like, and so they all had a hand in shaping me into the woman I am today. You know, as far as inspiration, like I have like celebrities and public figures that I take something from, but ultimately, like, for me, like I look at, you know, myself as like my biggest competition.
Yeah, you know, no, I can relate, definitely. Yeah. There's no competition but yourself. And so, I guess with, I mean, you have the media side of it, consulting, and then you have Tahlia TV as well. And so does that go, explain on that.
So Tahlia TV was more like a kind of a relaunch of the Tahlia Speak show that I had like a few years back when I first got into like being in front of the camera, and you know, taking some of the stuff that I was already doing behind the scenes, like interviewing different people and artists and public figures and all of that, and just taking the show on the road and covering certain events with the team and doing recaps and interviews and stuff like that. So Tahlia TV is a branch of that, but then also my goal, which I'm still trying to figure it out. I might do some rebranding and restructuring. So even I need help with that. So my goal is to make it like a network. So how you have OWN or like a CNN, like it's different programming.
Yeah.
So, you know, I did a casting call. I think it was last October. We had a lot of people come out. And so hence like me now starting to do some more short films and more like skits and comedy and stuff, trying to fit that in my schedule. And that will go on Tahlia TV. And also people that want to put their original programming. So say if, you know, you had a short film or a skit that you wanted to do and you wanted to toss it up there, I would put it on my page. So just make it like a hub of like a digital network of different type of program, whether it be news, music, sports, all of that. So
that's awesome. And you have all of this going on. How do you organize your life as an entrepreneur? You know, you're not only an entrepreneur, you're a mom. You have all this going on. What do you have? Daily routines, practices? What?
You know what? That was one of the things that I really wanted to try to start in 2019 because I do have a daily routine, but it's not as structured as I would like it to be. That what I've been doing now and practicing in 2019 is, for one, really not feeling like I have to take on everything that's offered to me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Why do you think that?
Because I feel like I have to find the balance in me being like being of service and wanting to help and give so much, to where I don't want to burn myself out. It has to make sense for me, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I did last year around this time, I worked on my first political campaign. I did the media strategy for the entire Marion County Sheriff's campaign for my candidate, and that was an awesome experience. And it was it was like a lot of stress, and I got to see the good and the bad side of politics, like really being that close to it.
Yeah.
And you know, immediately after that, like I got offers like, okay, you want to come? We need you on the Tahlia campaign. We want you to do this. I'm like, I got to step away. And for some people, they're like, oh, yeah, just keep it going. But I was like, you know what? I got to just really step away, decompress, really take in everything that I've done, so I know that would I do it again? Absolutely, but I would do it a little differently. So, you know, all that going back to say just learning to say no or not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And so I read in your Instagram bio specifically, it says inspiring, learning, ascending. I really like that. But what does that mean to you?
So to inspire people, we don't have to have it all together, right?
Yeah.
We're still learning, but we can inspire, right?
Facts, yeah.
And ascending is the spiritual journey that I'm on. That's why my movie was called Ascension. Like I said, I just encourage you guys to read up on it, whether it be through YouTube or whatever, about the ascension process that everybody will go through eventually, whether it is either up to you to do it, or just to say, oh, this is weird. So, no, I'm just going to stick to what I know, you know. But ascending is like almost like you think about a plane ready for takeoff, right?
Yep.
So for me, on my spiritual journey, like I'm slowly but surely like ascending into whatever my purpose is. So I had to shift my thinking into the beginning. It was like, oh, Tahlia, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do all these interviews, I'm going to help all these people, and I'm going to be on this and I'm going to be on that. But then the focus in 2009 shifted to the service part of it. So I'm like, I want to do jobs. Of course, I want to be paid and things, but I want to do something that serves people.
Yeah.
That serves not just their business, but them as the individual. Because I'm a very, every time I encounter somebody or meet somebody, I feel like I want to leave them with something. I want to pour into them. I want to I don't know, I'm just all about people just being the best version of themselves,
Yeah.
all while learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So inspiring and learning in the same process, because I'm trying to do the same.
Wow, that's very relatable. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
And so, okay, so your vision for, I feel like we got a good understanding of your vision for your company.
Yeah.
What's your vision for your life? I mean, obviously this can't be the only thing that you want to focus on. Do you have any big goals, aspirations, projects that you want to, accomplish?
Yeah. So, so personally, and I guess it's the best way to kind of sum it up. So personally, for myself, I used to do a lot of acting back in the day, and I'm saying a lot, like I'm saying more like plays and musicals, and I feel like that's the part that I really want to challenge myself with. Like, I want to try to get into more acting and more serious roles, and do more things like that. All while that's under my Tahlia L'Oreal brand and myself. But with TSM, eventually, like, what we do is just basically specialize in just helping brands, entrepreneurs, public figures, musicians just take their brands to the next level. So I'm starting to slowly but surely build clients that I work with closely. A lot of the brands that you guys probably see and hear about, I've worked with probably in some capacity. So for me, as far as the business goals, I want to branch TSM out and make it more of a, of course we want to be worldwide eventually, but to be known, domestically across the U.S. Because I do work remotely with some clients in different states, but as far as doing more travel work, like going there and like, shooting more content, in different places and things like that. So, that's where I am. That's where I am as far as my business, my business, and then my personal brand.
Do you think it's challenging to take on clients that are out of state, specifically for that digital marketing?
Yes. So for me, I'm people make fun of me all the time because I'm a little older than probably most of you guys in here, and you guys are more of like texting texters, which I do like to text now. I text, it depends on the person, but I'm a more of like, I want to talk to you on the phone. Like, I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you're talking about. I want to feel the conversation. So when you're working with clients that don't like to do that, and they don't even live in the same state, and it's either email or text, and it's hard getting them on the phone. That's been frustrating. That's why I've kind of slowed down on taking clients. If I can't go out there and at least have a face-to-face meeting with you like once a quarter, I feel like maybe this is not the best,
the right situation.
Yeah, the right fit.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're really looking out for their best interests, not just focused on the dollar.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And so what's your definition of success?
Happiness.
Okay.
And just because you can be successful but not be like the richest person in the world. But if you're happy and you're comfortable and you're healthy, that's success to me. And you're doing what you love, whether it is going to a corporate job, a 9-to-5 every day. If you love your job, I don't ever knock anybody that has a corporate regular 9-to-5. I do not knock it. That to me, that takes a lot of mental toughness, what I mean, to deal with that. So for me, success is just happiness, doing something you love, health, and just being able to enjoy life.
In your opinion, how does someone find happiness?
To me, happiness comes with authenticity and searching. A lot of times people hide from their shadows. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that? So I go back to the facing the dark parts of yourself, like things you may have suppressed. And I'm not talking about, I'm not trying to like trigger anybody, like face that traumatic event, but ultimately you have to, right? So, I just go back to myself and like, sometimes you gotta look at yourself and be like, I'm the one that's fucking up. I'm the one that's just not pulling my weight. I'm the one that's just halfway doing things, or I'm the one that made this mistake, or I'm the one that let somebody down in the past. And sometimes we have a tendency to block things out, especially when they're wrong, and just move forward and just try to like make it disappear. But when you face those things, it's so empowering. And to me, once you face that, the guilt kind of numbs itself. Or, and I'm not saying anything that I did specifically. I'm just talking about facing the dark parts, facing the shadows, and owning that. And then when you're able to own that and nobody can use it against you, and you walk in your truth, like, to me, that's happiness. Like there's nothing that anybody in here can't tell me about myself negative that I already know, unless it's a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can't take anything
exactly.
away from you either.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so going off of that, what kind of impact do you want to have on the whole world? Because I know you want to go worldwide.
Right. So also in my bio, I don't know if you noticed that I had light worker in there.
Yeah,
so light worker is another term that I encourage everybody to look up. And this is something that I learned on my spiritual journey, and I felt like, this is me. I just want to raise the consciousness of the world, let people know that the divinity is in you. Like, you can be anything you want to be. You have the power. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a creator, we came from somewhere. But don't let fear of, I'm going to hell if I don't do this right. You know what I'm saying? Be what drives you to do or not to do something you love. So raising the consciousness to know that God is within you, and if you're from God, like, you are divine, like, you can do anything you want to. So just spreading that consciousness, like lifting the consciousness and letting people know, like, their true power and inner strength. That's the mark that I want to leave. So that's why I go back to the service part, because I'm using what I do now, my business, to help others do that. So that's what it's about. Like, I just want to serve. Like, I just want to be a humanitarian and to go, like, just, like, help people.
Wow. Yeah, I swear we're on the same wavelength. That's awesome. One saying that I tell myself every single day is, I am one with God and God is everything.
Yep.
And when you realize that power is within you, literally anything is possible.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I'm getting cold chills. But that's awesome. And so before we go, where can people find you?
One of my thousands of Instagram pages. No, I'm kidding. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I don't tweet that much. I just kind of stopped tweeting like years ago. I don't know. It's not really doing anything for me right now. But Tahlia L'Oreal, TAHLIA on Facebook and Instagram. That's my personal page where I kind of just post a hodgepodge of just me. My business page is Tahlia Speaks Media. So it's Tahlia, TAHLIA Speaks Media. That's on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And then I also have my Tahlia TV. And then that's pretty much it for now.
Okay. And before I ask my last question, is there anything else that you want to say? Give a shout out to anything, plug anyone?
Right. Let's see. I just want to shout out just to, first of all, Novelty Growth and Landon and yourself, Adam, and the wonderful team you guys have. Like, you guys are awesome. I love what you're doing here in the city, and just, putting Indy on the map and having very, what's the word I'm looking for? The events you guys have are dope. That's basically what I'm going to say. And then I also want to shout out my team at TSM. A lot of the business I work with, from the End Goal Circle brand. I work with, if I'm leaving anybody out, it's my head, not my heart, my family. And then also PB Art Gallery, Dwani, Romeo with Bella Marcia. Like, so many people I've worked with and had a hand with. Like I said, it's my head, not my heart, if I missed you. And then also, we just started a new Saturday night party at Icon next door. We're trying to revive Icon and just kind of get that Saturday night popping. So I'm working. That's a new project of mine. We're doing Saturdays over there. So if anybody wants something to do on Saturdays, you can go over there. Great vibes, very diverse crowd, and we're doing that.
Is that starting this Saturday, or
no,
it's been?
Yeah, this will be our fourth Saturday coming up.
Nice.
The first Saturday was a major success. Like, wow, we had good problems because it was like, oh my God, none of security. Oh my God, we're almost to capacity. I'm like, this is dope, So, and then the second Saturday was great, and then of course we had the snowstorm last Saturday, so it was kind of dead everywhere. But this Saturday, the weather's breaking, so we're just back to the drawing board, and I think it's going to be an awesome turnout. And so we're just branding the party. We're just doing new parties. It's not just the same party every Saturday. It's a theme. It's something different, and that's what I'm all about with when I come on board, especially for weekly events. I usually just do one event a month. Like, I don't like to do like weekly club events or anything like that. But this was something that I couldn't pass up because we got to be creative with it.
For sure, I like that.
Yep.
And so my last question for you is: so, let's say you do everything that you desire and envision yourself doing, and you can leave one lesson. Everything all the books you've written, everything gets tossed out the window, but you can leave one lesson with your daughter, with your family, your loved ones, the people closest with you. That one lesson, what would it be?
I'm pausing because I don't think on that.
Take your
That's
time.
a great
Take
question.
your time.
So many, man. So many goes through my head, but you know what? I don't know why. I'm going with my intuition. This is what came in my head, so I'm going to say it. The gift is in you. That's just what the gift is in you. Like, so whatever your purpose is, usually your purpose is your passion. Like, usually it's never two different things. It's in you. And, to get it, you'll have to go through some things. You'll have to go through some ups and downs. Sometimes it's more downs than ups, but it's in you. And sometimes it's the downs that bring it out. So if I would tell my daughter that it's in you, and you really, truly, it sounds so cliche. We've heard it all our lives growing up. You can be anything you want to be. Just believe in yourself. All the celebrities say it, and we're like, yeah, you millionaire, and I'm sitting here working my $10 an hour job. You know what I mean? But it's so true. And I'm not rich. Yeah. I'm not out here, making, $100,000 a year. Like, but I know that it's true.
Yeah.
I know that you can be and do anything you want. It's in you.
Facts. Love it. Well, Tahlia, I appreciate you coming here at 120 Collective, being on Novelty Voice podcast. I encourage you to keep doing everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's very empowering and it's inspiring. I've had a great conversation. I just appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is like I said, it's my very first interview, really. So you guys,
I love it.
You guys are going to have a special place in my heart. You already did, but more so now.
Right on.
So thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been a blast.
Thank you. All right, guys, another episode 14, Novelty Voice, signing off.